Hi Chris, since you weren't able to make it in person, I figured I'd do a short video showing you what's involved with mushroom inoculation. So this is what a 5-pound bag of mushroom sawdust spawn looks like. You can see that it's pretty well colonized on the outside. And I'll show you another bag here that I mixed up. And that's what the sawdust looks like when it's not covered with the mycelia. This is the jig that I made up. We can do 3 logs at a time. One log typically goes crosswise here, and it'll roll on the wheels as we drill it and inoculate and wax it. This will hold one log sideways. And this is the 3rd log on this end. So basically 3 stations, so 3 people can work at the same time, either doing the same operation or 3 different operations. We usually do it in series, so we'll drill the first log and then go on and drill the second while the first one's being inoculated, and then once you get a couple inoculated logs, then you start doing the waxing. So I'm going to show you the drilling as the next step, and then the inoculation, and finally the waxing and tagging. So the drilling is done with a 4-inch grinder with a special attachment specifically for logs, and I'll show you the pattern that we are aiming for. Basically, you drill a row every 6 inches down the log, and then you go over 2 inches and stagger another 6-inch row. So when all's said and done, it creates a diamond pattern, and there's basically inoculum every 2 or 3 inches on the log. So you'll see what I'm talking about after I do a couple rows that Lisa's going to videotape for us.
Want me to hit the black? Want me to hit the black square?
Yeah, hit that. So this is the triangular or diamond pattern that I'm talking about, and I'm going to do that all around the log until I come back to where I started. So that's this step, and then once I've done that, we'll videotape the inoculation portion, and then finally the waxing. So this is the 5-pound bag of sawdust spawn, and I just pour it into a pitcher. And these are the plunger inoculators that we use. It's a thumb. They come in different styles. This happens to be a thumb one. So it's calibrated, so you basically are filling from here to here with sawdust spawn just by plunging it into this pitcher. I'm just mixing it up right now to make sure everything's been inoculated. And then you just put a plunger full in each hole, basically. And the plunger is calibrated to the bit size that I had on the 4-inch grinder. So it usually goes pretty smoothly. Hey, Shmoo.
Say hi, Manny. Say hi to Chris and Donna. Hold on. Hold on. There you go. Okay. That was Shmoo. Coming in for a close-up.
You can show what the spawn, what the plug looks like after it's in there.
I'll do it before and after.
Okay, you can cut it out now. So I'm going to show you how big the plug is that goes into the hole. So it's all pretty much calibrated so that the hole is drilled to the depth that is specific for this tool, and you'll see the plug coming out. So that's basically what we're injecting into the log in each hole. These bolts that I just drilled and I'm in the process of injecting are much longer than usual. Usually I cut them to 36 to 40 inches, but that's for shiitake that has to be handled several times, because you can force shiitakes, so you soak them in a tub of water, etc. Whereas these, right now, I'm inoculating oyster mushrooms into aspen. So I'm going to just put these logs out into a shady area and let them fruit spontaneously, so I don't have to handle them several times. And because of that, it's just easier to do longer bolts. I'll show you mushrooms, and normally I would stack these outside, but because we're inoculating in late November, early December, I don't want them to freeze for at least a couple months, so I'm keeping them in my basement in the wood room. And because of that, because they'll be indoors and not exposed to moisture such as rain and snow, I did wax the ends of these, whereas normally I just wax the plug holes. So this is what 75 bolts looks like in my basement, and we just stack them crib style until we're ready to move them outside. So the last step is the waxing of the plugs, and then, as mentioned earlier, I do the ends of the logs this time around because these logs will be indoors rather than outdoors. So anyways, this is hot cheese wax that I heat with a propane burner. And these are sheep's wool daubers, and you just put a little daub of wax on each drill spot to seal it, basically. It does two things. It keeps moisture in, and it keeps wild fungi from getting in before the inoculant has had a chance to take over. You got to wear gloves because the can gets really hot. This wax is probably it's above boiling water, because if water falls into it, it boils immediately. So it's probably 240 degrees or so. In addition to waxing the plugs, I also wax if there are any branches that have been cut off, like over here. That'd be a good source for moisture to escape and for wild fungi to get in, so you'll wax that up. The wax eventually comes off, but as long as the log has had a chance to grow whatever mushroom you've inoculated, then it'll